Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the pre-season race for the Formula 2 season in League of Europe. My name is Aidan Carter, otherwise known as Carmentis. I'll be your commentator today and for the entire season for Formula 2. Joining me today in the comms box for the pre-season race and the entire season as well is QVR Dakar. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, hello Aidan. I'm not doing too bad myself then, and yet very excited to be covering this season. Of course, ahead of us is the pre-season race where we have 14 drivers currently sitting in the lobby. Hopefully we get a few more, but yeah, they're going to be taking on this Silverstone track, and yeah, we're going to get this thing started. So it's going to be our pre-season race, and really going to be able to judge how the format works. Of course, if you can see on the menu, we've got one-shot quali, 50% distance feature race, and a 50% distance sprint race, and we'll see how all the drivers stack up against each other as well. So it's going to be a good one. Let's get into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you say, it's really going to be a great season. Just before we also get into the pre-season race today, which is obviously at Great Britain, as you can see, we're just going to run you through the calendar for the season. So the calendar for Formula 2 this season is going to run alongside the Formula 1 Championship. So we've got a full 18-round calendar this season. So we'll start off at Australia and go to Bahrain from there. We're missing China off the calendar. We're missing the same tracks off the calendar for Formula 2 as we are for the Formula 1 season. So China, France, Monaco, and I cannot remember the last track to save my life, but they will be the tracks that aren't on the calendar this season. And Abu Dhabi and Brazil have been swapped around in order for the final round of the championship, so we'll be finishing off the season at Brazil. But just looking at that calendar, Dakar, obviously there's many tracks on there that are in the current Formula 2 season, and there's also tracks on there that Formula 2 cars had never been driven at before. How do you think that the season's going to look with that mix of tracks?
Yeah, it's going to be really intriguing to see because obviously we've been able to have a look at how the F2 cars handle around those circuits, but of course now we're seeing them in an entirely different fashion that we've never seen before. So it really just builds up a lot of excitement, a lot of intrigue, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to see how these drivers take that on. Especially, it's a new challenge for them, so we'll see how they cope with it.
Yeah, absolutely. It is definitely a new challenge. So coming into this season, just having a look at the drivers we've got in the lobby so far. So we'll just run you through the 15 drivers here before we get going. So we've got LON underscore de Alex. He's a new driver to the league and to Formula 2. We've got Alt Maverick in the Carlin. We've got QVR Campbell. He's in the Trident. Sir Ibo's in this lobby. A lot of people you'll recognise from last season. So Chill's here as well. Tim, he's in the same team as Alex. They're both in the Univirtuoso cars. Larkin, excelling, or otherwise known as XL Dan. He's in the lobby as well. QVR Verstappen, QVR Game Boys, Jordan, Philippe, Hardy, Ryan, and Killer Blue are all in the lobby. But last season's champion, TTG Toxic, is not taking part in this pre-season race. I don't think. I'm not sure about the season. As far as I'm aware, he's not in. As far as I'm aware, he's not going to be taking part in the pre-season races. So, just looking at the people we've got in the lobby so far, who stands out to you as probably the main title threat?
Well, I think it possibly would be those two Trident drivers. It probably sounds a bit biased on my end, but of course they were fighting Toxic for the majority of the last season, so and expect them to be up there as well. And to be honest, the landscape at the front of the field may be quite similar. Of course, we'll see the pace will have surely been mixed up a little bit, but I expect it's those three faces come the season that I still think will be prominent up at the front in putting on a title challenge.
Yeah, absolutely, and we will have a number of new drivers joining joining for the first race of the season next time out, and we obviously haven't seen them race before, so they could be even bigger threats in the championship than maybe the likes of the QVR guys or Toxic himself. We might have a completely new champion this time round. I think personally for me as well, someone I'm going to look out for this season is Killer Blue. He joined the Formula 2 season last season quite late on, and really flew out the gates really. And we obviously know Killer Blue very well. He is much more competitive on this game than he was on the previous one, so I'd probably look out for him to maybe be a bit of an underdog this season.
I agree with that because in last season as well, he was a lot of races where he was up the front and got bad luck. I remember at Monza in particular where he had a gearbox failure. So
yeah.
He's on pure pace. I say he's definitely going to be up there. But looking to the present now, we've got a one-shot qualifying session to kick things off. The drivers are almost ready, so we'll see how they fare against each other. The first real test of their pace and how they all stack up. So let's get into it. One shot quality to kick things off.
Yeah, we're going to be on board with Exo Hardy for the lap then. We're going to stay on board with him throughout the entire run. Daka will keep us updated on the leaderboard as we go through the sector points through turn 1. Exo Hardy, a little bit of understeer midway through turn 1, but gets away with it as we come into the village farm section. Nice and neat to the inside of the track. Keeps it in second gear. Shifts down into second once again for the second hairpin. Again, a lot of understeer in the front of that car. That is typical of a Formula 2 car, though. Comes out onto the Wellington straight. He's running at the bottom end of the top 10 at the moment, just ahead of his XL teammate. Coming now down into Brooklands. We've already had Larkin retire from the session, and it looks like some people may have invalidated already. I think Campbell might have invalidated a time. As we come now into Luffield corner. Bit of a wider line, maybe going for a bit of a faster exit. Again in second gear. Keeps it on the throttle nicely, doesn't get any problems with traction on the exit. XL Gary's joined the lobby, so he will be at the back of the grid for the start of the feature race as we come now into Cops. Obviously flat out in a Formula 1 car, completely different in a Formula 2 car in 6th gear. Runs a little wide, and that is invalidated for Hardy, unfortunately, on the exit of Cops. So we'll go on board with QVR Verstappen then, who's at the front of the field at the moment. He's coming through Maggots and Beckett's and now into the final part and through Chapel at the end of the second sector. He's looking pretty promising so far. It's Chilling Killer Blue that are currently holding the next places on the grid as Verstappen comes up to the end of the hangar straight and into Stowe corner. Throws it in a tiny lock-up on the way in, but just about gets away with it. Had to back off the throttle there. He kind of got on the power quite early, expecting the car maybe to get out of the corner better than it did. Again, a little lock-up on the right-hand side. He takes a lot of inside curb, and that's an invalidation for Verstappen as well at the final corner, really, on the track. Verstappen invalidates his time. It would have been a pole position. It looks like it would have been a front 2 rows for the front row lockout for the QVR guys, but in the end, we still get a QVR front row lockout. But it's Chill that takes pole by 0.6 of a second ahead of his QVR teammate Game Boys.
Yeah, that is some margin. An emphatic lap from QVR Chill and a lot of invalidations. The track limits proving to be a little strict for some, and they were unable to keep it on. Of course, we've still got a feature race ahead of us. I'll run you through the qualifying order. Chill gets the de facto 4 points for pole position, although it doesn't really matter in this case. Game Boys joins him on the front rows. QVR teammate XL Ryan rounds off the top 3 there ahead of Killer Blue, who we picked up as a championship contender. Not a bad start there in 4th place there. We've got Alex in there in 5th there. Jordan 6th on that 3rd row. Then we've got Tim excelling, and then Ebo rounds off the lap times, and then Maverick, Verstappen, Hardy, Campbell, Philippe and Larkin, all of them not being able to see out the lap, getting their laps invalidated. So not the start that they would have wanted. A lot of time for them to improve, but yeah, the very strict track limits on this game proving to catch out a few very experienced drivers there, so they're going to have to try and work their way through in this feature race.
Absolutely, like you say, it is caught out a number of high-profile drivers, 2 QVR guys that we definitely bigged up before qualifying started, and Hardy down there as well as Larkin, who's had good performances in the past in Formula 2 cars. And obviously the problem now with Formula 2 cars, there is no fuel mixture change in this car, and there's no ERS usage to try and help and overtake, so it's got to be on pure speed alone to try and get a move done, and with the help of DRS and the DRS zone. So overtaking and getting from the back of the field to the front is going to be even harder in Formula 2 than it is in Formula 1. Just looking at the end of qualifying, though, I'm going to ask for a prediction from you for who you think the top 3 is going to be at the end of the race. Who do you think is going to take the podium places?
Well, I'm gonna back Chill yet again, because I know he's very confident in the Formula 2 cars, and you've seen that again, that huge margin at the top of the grid. I think there's going to be something to watch out for. I'm going to back him for the win. Second, I'm going to say Killer Blue, because I think that his kind of experience in league racing will shine through maybe towards the front. And then I'm going to say Campbell from very far down the grid is going to be able to work his way up and claim that podium. We'll see how that all shapes up then as Chill lays them away in the formation lap there. Gary has joined, so we've got 16 drivers ready to take it on. Let's do this.
Absolutely, yeah. Just looking at the tyre strategies as well. Obviously, one mandatory pit stop in the feature race from lap 3 onwards. Any pit stops before lap 3 won't count as the mandatory stop. Looking at the strategies people have gone out, the top 3 have all gone for the soft tyres. The first man who's gone for the alternate strategy is Killer Blue. He's gone for the hard tyres in P4. Excelling in P8 has gone for the hard tyres, as well as QVR Verstappen, QVR Campbell and Larkin. So a number of high-profile, fast drivers going for the alternate strategy at the start of this one. Maybe wanting to go a bit longer and using the speed of the softer rubber at the end of the race to move to the front of the field. If you were in their position, what strategy do you think you would go on? Do you think you'd go for the regular soft to hard, or would you go for the alternate?
Well, I definitely think you mentioned those higher profile drivers near the back of the grid. Yeah, I'd also go for an alternate strategy just because, if you're trying to work your way through traffic, you don't want to be, being held back if you're on those soft tyres because you're not going to be able to get the lap time out of them. On hard tyres, you're going to lose less time, and obviously with the fields a bit more spread out, you can really take advantage of those last few laps on the softs. So we'll see how it plays out then, and we've got to keep a close eye on those drivers on the hards as well. See if they move forward, see if they move back, because if they are able to get themselves up the field immediately, then that's going to set them up great for the later on in the race.
Absolutely, yeah. It's all going to be about these early laps. Can the soft runners at the back of the field work their way forward quickly and past the hard runners? We'll have to wait and see what the hard guys can do as well. The key to this run, though, is going to be off the line. Obviously, there's a massive difference in tyre grip. We've got soft and hard tyres. That's a two-step tyre difference. And obviously, Formula 2 cars are notoriously difficult to get off the line. Killer Blue, by the way, has not hung around on this formation lap. He's already coming to line up on the grid. He's thrown the car through the formation lap, maybe to build even more tyre temperature into the car, to try and off the line as quickly as possible. Just before we get going, I'll give you my prediction as well. I completely forgot to say mine, but I think I'll probably go for Chill to win this race. I think Killer Blue will be second, so I've gone for the same top two as you, but I think I'm going to go for the other QVR guy. I'm going to go for Verstappen for third on the podium today, so we'll have to wait and see which one of us is correct in that sense. But we're just lining up at the back of the field. It's Larkin and Gary at the back of the field before we get going then for the feature race in Formula 2. Everyone just lines up in their spot. Here we go, waiting for the 5 lights to come on ahead of the drivers. Which one of the QVR guys off the front of the grid is going to get the best start? It's quite a long hole before the lights go out, and they do go out, and it looks like Gameboy's got an incredible start compared to Chill. Second phase of the start, though, Gameboy's is very squirrely on Killer Blue in behind, so Chill holds the lead. Ryan is into second place. QVR is actually falling a little bit further down. Alex has had an incredible start. He's up to third place. He's had a brilliant start. Someone was wide in the background. Didn't quite see who that was. We've got Chill now coming through the back. Oh, there's a bit of contact further back. Yeah, Verstappen's been hit. I'm not sure who that was by, but Verstappen's been spun round. Looks like someone outbroke themselves and has hit into the back of him and spun him round. I think they've gone away with no damage. Just having a look to see at the front of the field then. So Chill still leads. Ryan very close in behind, only 0.3 of a second. He's had a brilliant start from third on the grid. Alex up to fourth. Alex up to third, sorry. Gameboy's down to fourth. Killaboo down to fifth. Maverick is in sixth. They had a Ling in seventh. Bit of contact further back, I think.
Yeah, there was debris flying off one of the cars. I think that was actually QVR Campbell. So disaster potentially for both of those Trident guys. I'm trying to analyse that car, see if he's got damage, but I think there was definitely a front wing flying off the back of one of the cars further back there. Yeah. That is Larkin side by side with Jordan, and Jordan eventually has to back out, but gets a much better exit as Larkin runs wide in that frame and gets through up into 11th place. And further up the road you can see Philippe switching round and easing past Campbell. If you look on the right hand side of that front wing, he has definitely got some end plate damage, so that's going to hold it back. Hard tyres, it's got less mechanical grip and obviously less downforce with that front wing damage, so he's going to be falling back then. It's a long race ahead now for Campbell.
Yeah, really a long race ahead for Campbell and for Verstappen now down at the back of the field. It's been a dreadful start for the main QVR team, but up front, Chill still leads. Only 0.3 of a second though back to Ryan. Ryan's had a great first lap. He's stuck on the back of Chill after Chill's pretty dominant qualifying performance. So it's Alex that runs in third, but Gameboys has got back up to speed. He's right behind the Univirtuosi man. Is only 0.2 back. Can Gameboys get a move done maybe into the farm section? Let's have a look and see if he's close enough. Just coming through, he's too far back to make a move. Meanwhile, in behind, Maverick having a look at Killer Blue, but doesn't think about going down the inside. Killer Blue done a good job so far on those hard tyres. Only lost one place on at the start of this race, and there's a bit of a gap forming now back to Excelling really down in 7th place, who's the next man on the hard tyres. He's holding this queue of cars behind, led by Philippe. Jordan, oh, someone's wide in the background. I didn't quite catch who that was. I think that might have been Tim maybe that was running right in the background. We've got a spinner as well. Is that one of the QVR guys?
That's
I think
Campbell.
It is.
Campbell's off again. So yeah, both those QVR guys really struggling. I'm having quite a lot of issues with the timing, so it's a bit hard to keep up with everything. But yeah, further up the road, you mentioned XL Ling. You see he was holding up that group there. He was battling away with Philippe at the start of the lap. They're looking further up the road. Killer Blue is tucked in behind Maverick there. You can see the understeer at the front of that car, and running about wide there. He's got to watch those track limits. Philippe has fallen foul to that penalty already for the German. That's going to set him back no end, and he's still chasing down XL Ling, one of the lower placed soft runners. So he's got to try and get moving because Ryan's off at the exit of Chapel, and he is going to be set well back running in P2 and hassling the back of QVR Chill, off the road and exiting onto the hangar straight, and he is nowhere, way down, 15th place, and that is going to put him almost out of contention. As we've got an early pit stop there, I think that's Gameboys. Gameboys into the pits from P3. We'll see if he can make work for that. And is he allowed to do that?
I think we've just started lap 3, so that, if I'm correct, won't count as Gameboy's mandatory pit stop. That's too early in the race. We had the timer glitch on my end as well, saying it was lap 3 on the previous lap. We've now just started lap 3. Ryan's had to come into the pits to change his front wing, which is fair enough, but yeah, I think that's far too early for Gameboys. He's actually not made the mandatory pit stop rule by the looks of things, so Gameboys... It might have been a good strategy call, but if I'm correct, that's not going to count. So he's going to be right at the back of the field and having to make another pit stop, which is such a shame for Gameboys. It's really falling apart for everyone at QVR, apart from Chill, who now has a 3-second lead out front. He's cruising away. Alex in second place is nearly 3 seconds ahead of Maverick in third. So the top two have had a great start. They've avoided all the chaos around them, and they're keeping going. Don't want to jinx them just yet, but they've had good races so far. Maverick passed. Oh, as I say that, Alex has actually dropped it on the exit of Luffield. He drops it on the traction on the exit. He doesn't hit anything, I don't think. I think Gameboys has also spun out the pit lane by the looks of things. I think if you can go on board with Gameboys, I think he's just got going again, but he's spun coming out of the pit lane and he's dropped a lot of time as Alex is able to re-enjoy the track down in 13th. He's behind Ibo now. It's all falling apart for people at front, and now Chill has a 6-second lead, at the front of this field.
Yeah, absolutely monstrous first 3 laps for QVR Chill, taking advantage of all the chaos behind him. As meanwhile, further back, Lang is chasing down Philippe. Philippe got past earlier on in the lap at turn 4. Now, there's going to be a fight back from Lang down the inside, and he looks for it into Stowe, clears him before they even turn into the corner, but runs very wide on the exit, and that's going to put Philippe back side by side. They've got to be careful not to come together. Looking by Larkin, goes through the middle, threads the needle, and up into third place potentially. His teammate Philippe is stuck on the outside. Opportunistic from Larkin, now the leading hard runner up into the podium places there. That was superb.
That was incredible stuff from Larkin, up to third place already from the back of the field. I think he was 15th on the grid and he's third already in this race. Larkin has thrown himself into podium contention after a crazy opening few laps. In the middle of all that as well, Killer Blue made a mistake somewhere. He's dropped all the way down to 9th. He was ahead of Maverick, so he would have been up in P2. He's dropped to 9th, so he's fallen way down the field. We've missed that. But wow, what an incredible few laps for Larkin. This has been up to third place now, ahead of his ardent teammate in Philippe.
Hardy.
Oh, Hardy. Oh, another person spinning then. Another XL driver is around. So it was Ryan earlier on in the race. His MP Motorsport teammate Hardy is now spun. Coming onto the Wellington straight. He reverses back onto the track. He looks like he hasn't hit anything. He's got away with no damage, but that's down to 13th now. And Verstappen, after his lap 1 spin, just goes round the outside of Gary, I believe, at Brooklands. Yeah, he's just gone round the outside of Gary. And Verstappen's already back up into 9th.
Yeah, taking advantage of all the chaos behind and showing good pace. Verstappen up into 9th place on the road and looking to continue moving forward. Looking a little bit further up the road though, this is the closest battle on track, or one of them at least now, is Jordan, tracked by Tim, and also up the road you got the 2 teammates there, Larkin and Philippe. They're Larkin on those hard tyres, managing to eke out a bit of a gap actually as Campbell picks up a penalty, another blow to his chances in this race. Let's watch this battle for 6th place. DRS is going to be open down the hangar straight yet again. We'll see if Tim can close it down, but of course he has such a big gap between himself. The gap closes down to just a few car lengths, but Jordan is just about able to park it up ahead. It's looking further down the road. It's Verstappen is once again around the outside, this time on Killer Blue, and this time at Stowe. Looks for the move, completes it, and Verstappen on a charge in this race, and he is searching. He said he might get a podium, and even with a lap 1 spin, he is on course for it potentially there, as Jordan and Gary on those soft tyres both in at the end of 4.
Yeah, Jordan and Gary first ones then to come in and change onto the hard tyres from the softs. They're the first people to then take off the soft tyres. At the moment, at the front of the field, Larkin now about half a second a lap faster than Maverick in front. He's starting to catch second place man, who's now 7.3 seconds off Chill, who was cruising out front at the moment. But yeah, brilliant stuff from Verstappen around the outside of Killer Blue at Stowe Corner. Killer Blue, after a good first lap, he's really struggling on these hard tyres to build any sort of temperature and pace. He's really just falling through the field at the moment, not got the same confidence as people around him. Campbell, meanwhile, down in 9th, still running with that front wing damage, obviously on the hard tyres. He doesn't want to put the softs on yet. They will not take him to the end of the race at this point. He's being chased down by Alex after his early spin. Just looking further down the field as well, seeing where Gary comes out of the pits relative to people around him. Gary, I think, might have jumped Jordan in the pit lane, actually, by the looks of things. I think he has, and they've come out well ahead of Gameboys after his spin out of the pit lane. And Ryan is on the soft tyres as well, so Ryan's going to have to make another pit stop in this race.
Also want to point out that Jordan actually half spun out of the pit lane, and that's how Gary was able to get in front of him. So that's why you're seeing Gary in front of Jordan now, going into Brooklands and holding that position despite the DRS behind him. But of course, he's going to have to try and stick it in there and move forward. Gary started from dead last on the grid, and he's looking a little bit better for him now.
Yeah, race
leader
leader in. There we go. Chills into the pits then to change onto the hard tyres. Alt Maverick follows him in. He's the second place man on the soft runners. We imagine we'll probably see Philippe in as well. Yeah, he's diving into the pits. So now is the time for the soft runners to come in. Gary picks up, I think that might be Gary's third time penalty in this race. He's really picking up the track limit exceeding penalties at the moment. People really struggling with that. But now Larkin from the back row of the grid on lap 6 now leads this race. What a great start to this race this has been. Excelling is in second place. He's 4 seconds back. Tim has decided to stay out. He's not gone onto the soft tyres as of yet. His teammates come into the pit lane actually, so he wouldn't have been able to make that pit stop anyway. So he's running in third. He's the only man at the moment who hasn't who started on the soft tyres yet. Verstappen's in behind him. As I say that, Tim gets a massive swapper on the exit there. Verstappen maybe looking for another move at Brooklands. Let's see if he can get down the inside. Does Tim decide to defend the position? No, Tim's going to stay on the racing line. Here comes Verstappen then down the inside. Another move. Verstappen up to third place after an early spin. Easy move down the inside of Brooklands. Tim doesn't fight it. He knows that they're on completely different strategies. Verstappen up to third and now chasing down Excelling for second.
Yeah, his race pace proving to be quite something there. He continues to move his way up the field, and up ahead of him Excelling, who was actually towards the front of the grid last season as well, so that's putting his drive into perspective here. Verstappen potentially looking at yet another position. He's just got to watch that outside the cops. He was getting very tasty with the track limits. But yeah, Larkin is continuing to extend that gap behind him, and so he's looking very good as Ebo is off there down at turn 4. So yeah, little error from him, and he's got a lot of work to do in this race now as Verstappen now has the DRS. Keller Blue also has the DRS off of Tim, who's clearly got dying tyres there, and Keller Blue closing him down towards Stowe there. He's going to look towards that inside line, brakes much later. Can he just get the car stopped on the inside? Watch for the exit there from Tim, but I think Keller Blue is going to see it through as the soft tyres are dying off now as finally Tim dives into the pits after losing 2 places on that lap.
Yeah, Tim decides to dive into the pit lane. Couldn't take those soft tyres any further. I think that's the same thing for Ibo at the moment. He has not pitted yet. He's on the soft tyres, and he had a spin in the Village Farm section of the track. He's dropped down to 14th. Meanwhile, Ryan's pitted for a second time and has now put the hard tyres on, so that will count as his mandatory pit stop. Just a reminder, everyone, Game Boy's pitted before lap 3, so he's not met the mandatory pit stop rule as of yet, so he's going to have to make another pit stop in this race, unfortunately. But now Larkin leads by 4.6 seconds. We're in a little bit of an off phase. As I say that, actually, Verstappen only 4 tenths back from Excelling. This is a great recovery from Verstappen. Can he get close enough to Excelling down into Brooklands to make a move? It's going to have to be a late dive, and he's not close enough, but he's so much later on the brakes than Excelling. He had a look at the outside. Can he get a move done maybe on the exit of Luffield towards Copse? Have to wait and see if he can get the traction on the exit of the corner. He doesn't go down to second, keeps it in third, but gets great traction. He's going to have a massive run on Excelling here. He's going to try and go around the outside towards Copse, but Excelling has some momentum on the inside with a tighter line. Verstappen still looking to the outside. Does he decide to back off into the corner? He does. He's going to try and get the switch back before Maggots and Beckett. Has to back off slightly though. Caught out by how slow Sling was going through Copse into Maggots and Beckett. Sling taking a very just about holds on. Got to wait for Hanger Straight now though. This is the best chance for Verstappen to make the move on the car in front of him. Let's have a look and see. He gets a bit of a poor run actually through Chapel. Excelling gets a better run. Has he got the strong speed to get up to the back of him? So it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. He's have to stay in P3 for the time being.
Indeed he will there, but he has been threatening all the way through this lap, and the overtake may be a case of when, not if, as Ling gets very wide off of Stowe, and Verstappen's looking slightly to that inside line, but sits him behind. Again, Ling very late on the brakes and too late, and now through a club corner. Now Verstappen gets up to the back of them there, but a bit of oversteer there. These tail-happy cars then, well, they're very front and rear limited compared to F1 cars. You can see Verstappen struggling to put that power down and can't quite get the run on Ling for now, but going towards the Village. Ling has to defend the inside line yet again. Can Verstappen look for a better exit? Going towards turn 4 and then turn 5 onto the Wellington Straight. We'll see Ling again cover the inside line. Again, better exit from Verstappen, and now trying to put that traction on. He's going to have DRS down the Wellington Straight towards Brooklands. Can he finally get this move done there? In that slipstream now, closing down on his fellow Dutchman to the inside yet again, but Ling pinches him towards the apex of the corner, hangs it round the outside towards Luffield. Now Verstappen comes back to the outside, look for another better exit off the corner, and yet again we're getting deja vu here. He's going to have another run going down towards Copse. He picks up that slipstream. Ling, middle of the track, not giving him any option. To the outside again goes Verstappen. Does he commit to it this time? Yes, he does. Round the outside of Copse. Just about keeps on the track a little bit wide. They're still side by side. Going towards Maggotts, towards Beckes. Leg pinches Verstappen to the inside of Maggotts and keeps the possession. Wow, what racing here on lap 8.
Brilliant racing. I'm amazed Excelling's been able to hold on to this position. It's been great driving for the pair of them, but Ling touches the grass on the start of the hangar straight. Verstappen's going to look to the inside, is he? Or Ling's going to defend right to the inside. Does he go for the outside? He does. Can he get the move done around the outside at Stowe again? He'd done this on Killer Blue, but he locks up, and look how late Ling is on the brakes. How he got that one stopped, I do not know, but he's able to keep second place ahead. Verstappen maybe going to go for a switchback here. No, he's going to go to the outside. But again, Ling late on the brakes, and he's able to hold the place. Great defending so far from Ling, but this has made... this has massively helped Larkin. Look at the lead that Larkin has now. Oh,
Chell's gone off at Chapel and he's dropped back there. Campbell's
broken
on the
his front wing
from P5. So yeah, so Chell from a comfortable net lead in this race is now way back there, and that puts Maverick up actually. So that has put Maverick in a very good position in this race now. He's got a 4-second gap to Chell, to Philippe, and with Chell's wing damage, well, he's got a long way forward if he wants any chances. Now Verstappen finally gets underneath Ling, going through onto the wing straight, but Ling gets a better run around the outside and is able to keep it as Gary gets disqualified. What's going on here?
Yeah, Gary, it looks like he might have had a spin on the exit of Chapel when he tried to turn the car around, and he's got disqualified for driving the wrong way down the track. It wasn't the race that Gary wanted at that point anyway. It was going horribly wrong for him, and it's just falling apart at the end. But still, Excelling, this is incredible defensive driving from Excelling to hold Verstappen off. Killer Blue's now on the back of this train as well. He's re-caught these guys. But yeah, at the moment, I believe Alt Maverick is in the net race lead. But this has gifted Larkin an amazing opportunity at winning this feature race from 15th on the grid. What a result that would be for Larkin. A great start to the season as well. Before we get going in full season as well, is Verstappen going to be close enough now, coming through Chapel onto the hangar straight? He's lagged back a little bit more on this lap, maybe trying to cool the tyres down, go for another run. Excelling really hits the grass in Chapel. Is it Verstappen going to get the run this time round? Excelling already defending to the inside. He goes to the middle of the track. Is he going to duck back to the inside? He doesn't. He leaves the inside open for Verstappen. But again, Excelling really late on the brakes. But Verstappen's going to have the run on the inside of the corner, and Verstappen's actually into the pit lane. They both are, and Verstappen beats Ling into the pit lane. And Verstappen speeds. Yeah, Verstappen speeds in the pit lane. Killer Blue's in as well. Second, third, and fourth all into the pits to change on the soft tyres. But that was a great opportunistic move from Verstappen to get up the inside before they all dived into the pit lane.
Indeed it is now, and Larkin stays out. We'll see where Maverick comes out in relation to all of these guys. We'll see who comes out the pits. In front, I think Killer Blue might have actually jumped on. He's coming into the box a little bit later, but we'll see what happens there. Of course, the pit stop's not quite as quick in F2. Verstappen just about able to stay ahead of Excelling there, and Killer Blue has to tuck him behind. Where is Maverick? He's just coming down the main straight now. I think he might just have these guys, you know. Verstappen is at the edge of the pit lane. Maverick is way clear, but of course now, with these guys on fresh soft tyres, they're going to be charging then, and the American is going to be vulnerable from attack. But at the moment, P2 for him now. He's going to try and hold that now, but I think Larkin might actually have him already then. 33 seconds ahead. Larkin might be in the lead when he makes his pit stop.
I think, yeah, he had about a 7.5 second gap back to Verstappen. Larkin at the moment, with a smooth pit stop and a smooth pit entry, not making any mistakes on the pit exit as well, should have the race lead when he comes back out the pits. Meanwhile, his ardent teammate Philippe actually jumped Killer Blue and is on the back of Excelling, but obviously there's a massive tyre difference now. Excelling's going to have the pace over Philippe, so he should be able to keep fourth. It's all about whether Killer Blue can get back past Philippe and back up into fifth place. Chill's still in seventh at the moment with the front wing damage, but it's starting to fall back into the clutches of Tim behind. Game Boy still hasn't pit yet either for his mandatory pit stop. Campbell still in the top 10 despite the front wing damage picked up early on in this race. It looks like he hasn't repaired his front wing in the pit stop though. He's decided against changing his front wing and has decided to keep the damage and has stayed out on the track, losing less time in the pit lane, maybe to try and gain it back on the track. Meanwhile, Killer Blue looks like he's done the switchback move on Philippe. Oh my word, that was incredibly close. How they didn't make contact, I do not know, but Killer Blue, opportunistic as ever, makes his move back up into P5 and is now going to try and re-chase back down, Excelling for P4.
Yeah, that was so aggressive from Killer Blue. He put a lot of faith in Philippe to run that curve and give him the space, and he managed to do that there. They're able to keep it clean. Larkin into the pits now, and where is he? Maverick is only now coming around the penultimate corner, so we'll see now. Larkin is almost at the end of the pit lane. Maverick now around the final corner. He's got that throttle planted there. He's going a lot faster than Larkin, but I don't think it's going to matter much. No. I think Larkin's still got a few seconds in hand. He emerges from his pit stop well in the lead of this race with fresher tyres. He can drive away, and barring no mistakes, Larkin should have this in the pack from 15th on the grid. What a drive.
as I say that as well, Campbell, a 1 minute 40.9 with front wing damage on the soft tyres. What a lap from Campbell that is. He's actually catching his teammate for 9th place at the moment, who's catching Tim in front, who is then catching his other QVR teammate for Chill for 7th. So Campbell's still on for a top 7 in this race at the moment, despite the chaos that's happened to him. But yeah, Larkin 3 seconds out in front. Meanwhile, in the previous lap, Verstappen took nearly 2 seconds out of Maverick on his outlap. So Verstappen is massively catching Maverick for P2 at the moment. He's going to have a massive task holding on to a podium place as Maverick. Verstappen has got a speeding penalty and a time penalty on track as well, though. So if Maverick can keep it clean, which I think he has done so far, he could still beat these guys on penalties. So don't count Maverick out of a podium just yet. It's going to be a massive fight between these guys. And Philippe, at the moment, not doing a bad job of holding on to the back of Killer Blue at the moment.
Yeah, he's keeping himself in contention. Killer Blue getting quite a lot of understeer going through Copse as well, so he's not able to quite get onto the back of Ling just yet. I do want to mention that Maverick does actually have a 3-second penalty, but of course that's much less than Verstappen has. But I think Ling, I'm just going to actually check here. No, he actually, surprisingly enough, has a penalty, which is quite uncharacteristic of him. And so yeah, so Maverick still has a good chance at this podium. Because he needs to just stay within 5 seconds of Verstappen and not allow Ling to overtake him, and he'll have P2. We'll see how that all shapes up. There's still a long way to go. 4 laps in this race. As yeah, they're side by side behind there. Game Boys round the outside. Tim gets massively out of shape coming off a stone, has to back off. That's going to be 9th place for him then, as Verstappen does a huge lap there.
Oh, we've got a spinner
again.
Oh, that's Ibbo.
Who's that?
That's Ibbo. Ibbo currently a lap down. It's not been Ibbo's race so far. He had a spin there on the exit of the club chicane. Unfortunately, he's running down in 15th. Good on him for still going in this race, but it just hasn't gone his way so far. Just looking as well, we've got 3.5 laps to go in this race. Another thing to look out for is reverse grid pole. The fight for reverse grid pole at the moment is between Chill, Game Boys, Tim and Campbell, fighting for reverse grid pole. Obviously, we've got to count penalties into that as well, so someone might fall down the field. As Campbell trying to go around the outside of Tim there, coming onto the Wellington straight. Oh, Tim actually forces him way off the road. Campbell just about keeps it without spinning, but that was incredibly aggressive from Tim to hold on to the place ahead of Campbell. Campbell stays in P10 for the time being, but guys are losing touch with the QVR guys in front, and now Game Boys is going to be on the back of his teammate for a move for P7. Larkin with a 3-second time penalty now as well. I don't know if that's his first or his second in this race, but that's another penalty for the race leader.
And Campbell as well getting a penalty, so he's going to have his work cut out. You mentioned that reverse grid pull that he is fighting for then at still just up the road there. You can see that front wing's going to be holding him back for this high-speed corners as well as the dirty air. I was looking a little bit further up the road. You mentioned that Verstappen's closing down on Maverick, and already he is within that DRS range and closing him down. Look further back as well. Philippe has actually got back up to the back of Killer Blue and maybe pressuring him, going towards Stoner, getting very close to the back but doesn't commit to the move. But that's very surprising, very impressive how Philippe has managed to hang on to Killer Blue and is actually putting the pressure on here. Killer Blue may have to defend the inside line going into the Vale. Philippe looks to the inside line and he almost made contact. As I'm looking as well. Verstappen chasing down Maverick, going down the main straight then, into turn 1, still hold that position. Game Boys is in the pits then for his mandatory stop. So he's going to have to sit in behind and he's going to lose a lot of places now. Going to be out of contention in that fighting outside the top 10 surely now. And for the majority of the QVR guys, well, it's not been their day.
It really hasn't. Here goes Verstappen though onto the Wellington straight, only a 10th back. This is surely an easy move. Maverick decides to defend to the inside. Verstappen's going to go for the outside line. Of course, he's got the better grip, but can he make it work all the way around the outside of Brooklyn? So we've seen it done a few times already in this race from Verstappen, but Maverick able to hold on to the place through Brooklands, and he keeps the inside line for Luffield. So Verstappen's really going to have to fight this one. They've got a 3-second buffer back to Excelling, who hasn't had the same pace on these soft tyres as Verstappen has. Here goes Verstappen again to the outside of Copse. Third time in this race he's tried this. It almost worked once before. Can he get the move done around the outside of Maverick? Does he commit to it? He does. He's trying to go all the way around the outside. Can he keep it on the track? A little bit wide. Maverick gives him just enough space. Verstappen still down the inside for the start of the Maggots-Beckett's complex. But Maverick is just going to hold the place for the time being through the S section. Verstappen, though, looks like he's going to get a better run through Chapel and onto the hangar straight before so. Maverick runs very wide. Look at the run Verstappen gets round through Chapel. Verstappen already through before DRS really becomes a thing, and Verstappen up into second place. But a great defence for Maverick to keep Verstappen behind for that long.
Indeed it was a valiant effort, and now he's given himself a chance, because all he has to do is stay within 5 seconds in these next 2 laps without getting a penalty himself, and that second place should well be his, as long as he stays ahead of Ling. Ling could actually snatch P2 here if he keeps that trajectory going with pace. He's just got to try and get those softs switched on. If Maverick can hold DRS of Verstappen, for as long as possible, going down the Wellington Straight on this lap perhaps, then that will just give him that little boost that he needs. But yeah, 2 laps, it's going to be very intense. See how these podium positions are decided. I think Verstappen's a little bit on the back foot despite being there as
Philippe down the inside, sorry to cut in there, but Philippe down the inside of Killer Blue, somewhere around this soft stint. Killer Blue has actually picked up front wing damage on the right hand side. Not sure whether that was with contact with Philippe or maybe he had a moment and hit a wall somewhere, but Killer Blue's actually picked up front wing damage, which is why he's not been able to keep up with the guys in front, but he's trying to come back at Philippe now, down the Wellington Straight into Brooklands. It looks like Philippe couldn't defend in time. Killer Blue's down the inside, but Philippe trying to go all the way around the outside of Brooklands. Can he pull it off? It just about gives him enough room. He's going to hold it round the outside. Killer Blue trying to stay around the outside for Luffield, but Philippe, great driving for Philippe, but he ruins the exit a little bit on the exit of Luffield. Here comes Killer Blue. Killer Blue down the inside through Woodcote and coming up to Copse. Killer Blue, is he clear of Philippe coming into Copse? He is. He pulls back onto the racing line before the corner. Killer Blue keeps P5. Here comes Philippe again with the exit. Backs up. He wants to keep DRS for the Hangar Straight. All this time, was actually made his way past Tim for P8. Campbell chasing down Chill now for 7th in this race. Philippe, oh, look at that. Oh, Philippe actually, I think, lagging through Killer Blue a little bit there. Might be a little bit of a desync between these two, but Philippe's going to try and go for a move now down into Stowe. Is he going to look to the outside? He is. He's going to go around the outside of Killer Blue. Can Killer Blue hold it on the inside? But with that front wing damage, it's going to be a tough order for him. He looks down the inside, but has to back off. Try not to understeer into him, but Philippe runs wide, and Killer Blue somehow holds on to P5.
Yeah, he had to really fight for that one, and of course, managed to hold up pretty well, that front wing damage, through all those aero-dependent high-speed corners, but he's still going to be under pressure, I'm sure, as we're on the final lap of this race now for the leaders. I mean, you mentioned Maverick has managed to keep that gap down, so as long as he doesn't have a disastrous last lap, he should be able to wrap up second position in this race. Unless Ling is, of course, able to chase it down. That gap's still nearly 2 seconds. But one thing there isn't any doubt of, unless he makes a major error, is going to be Larkin. Wow, he has came from the depths. As meanwhile, looking a little bit further back, we've got Philippe is chasing down onto Keller again. DRS, but he didn't get the best run onto the Wellington Straight. That might just hold him back. He's not going to be close enough to Keller on this occasion, but I think Keller does have quite a few penalties. Actually, so does Philippe as well, so I don't know how that's going to settle things out. But yeah, this battle for 5th place could even be interrupted by Chill behind him there, because I think Chill is almost clean, so who knows, Chill could still be on for a top 5 despite a spin and despite wing damage.
He could be, yeah. He's now being caught by Campbell. These guys have front wing damage. Well, Chill has front wing damage on the left hand side, Campbell on the right hand side, so they're basically even on damage on both sides. Still catching Chill for P7 at the moment. They're fighting for reverse grid pole. And Tim, is he going for a move? He is. He has a look. He's not close enough though, but he's going to have the run now down the Hangar Straight into Stowe. Is he going to be able to keep close enough to Killer through Chapel? Jordan JT picks up a time penalty at the moment, currently running in 10th place. Here comes Philippe then down the Hangar Straight. We're actually going to run a ball with Larkin though as he comes around the final corner. What a drive this has been from Larkin from 15th on the grid. Larkin's going to win the feature race today at Great Britain. Brilliant drive from him. Verstappen a great recovery to come back into 2nd place then on the podium, and Maverick looks like he's going to steal that 2nd place actually from Verstappen because of the penalties. He does so. Does Excelling steal 3rd? He does. So Excelling steals 3rd place on the podium. Verstappen drops to 4th. Further in behind, Philippe had a go at Stowe but wasn't close enough. Killer Blue holds on to P5 for the time being. They both had similar penalties actually. Here comes Chill and Campbell to the line. Where do they play out in all this? Chill jumps them all. Look at Tim. Tim jumps up to P5. He jumps the lot of them, and at the moment it is Campbell that takes reverse grid pole for the sprint race.
Indeed he does then, by a very slim margin as well. We've got Alex coming over the line now, and he barely misses out on 10th. And Game Boys, I suspect this is going to be an absolutely huge fastest lap, assuming he's got a clean lap in. Then over the line Game Boys, it's not actually a fastest lap. As Hardy comes through as well then. Just ahead of Ebo, and last car over the line will be XL Ryan through now. So that is Larkin who takes the first win of the feature race in the pre-season event. And yeah, from 15th on the grid to win it, that's going to be one psychological boost ahead of the new season.
Absolutely, yeah, of course. Larkin, driver of the day from the game. He gained 14 positions in that race to go from the back row to the win. And it was a comfortable win, the end of around 9 seconds, on track at least. Obviously, with Verstappen's penalties, that is actually an even bigger margin. So we'll just run you through the feature race results then, before we go into the sprint race. So the feature race results, Larkin wins the race from 15th on the grid. 2nd place goes to Maverick. Great drive for Maverick from 10th on the grid himself as well, up a number of places to get on the podium. Excelling takes 3rd place as well. Verstappen up to 4th after a good good recovery. Tim runs in 5th ahead of Killer Blue 6th. Chill, our pole sitter, a race of what could have been really for Chill. He could have been battling Larkin for the win, but it all fell apart for him at the start of his hard stint. He's down in 7th ahead of Campbell in 8th. He takes reverse grid pole for the sprint race. Philippe in 9th. Jordan rounds off the top 10 ahead of Alex at Game Boys, Hardy and Ryan in 14th. Ibo in 15th. Gary, the only person that didn't finish after being disqualified midway through the race for driving the wrong way down the hanger straight. And that is the feature race, everyone. Bit of a breather after that one. That was full of action throughout.
Yeah, and I just want to point out that I think for both myself and Aidan, we're not much to be proud of in terms of our predictions for the race. Don't listen to us, clearly. That was a bit of an embarrassment on our end.
That really was. On our end, we did not get a single podium person right at all in that race. And in the end, Larkin, look at that, 11.1 seconds he won that race by. From 15th on the grid, that's probably one of the best performances I've commentated on in a Formula 2 car. That really stands out for me. But I've got to put a good word in for Maverick. Maverick struggled for pace really in the Formula 2 cars last season, but that is a great result for Maverick.
Indeed it is, and we saw him in the wars as well. He really fought for that P2 against the two very experienced and well-accomplished drivers in excelling and Verstappen. So he's done extremely well there to just keep out of trouble and pick the battles when he did. So yeah, that is it then. And next up is going to be our sprint race. So ahead of this one, of course, we mentioned Campbell is going to be on pole position for this one. And I think he'll be, after a fairly disastrous opener, I think there's only one goal in mind for him there. He is going to push to try and get this race win.
Absolutely, yeah. And that is one of the great things about Formula 2. If you do have a poor feature race, there's still something to fight for. Campbell had a pretty poor feature race in the end, being caught up in a couple of incidents, but he fought back through the field with damage, and he's able to take the reverse grid sprint race pole position, which means he's in the best seat really to win this sprint race. And if this was in the season, this would be a great way to win some points back that he would have lost in the feature race. So hopefully for him, he can get out at the front of the field and maybe disappear. We know the pace that Campbell has in these cars. It's difficult to bet against him for the sprint race win, really, isn't it?
Indeed, I definitely agree with you there. But of course, anything can happen. We saw Chill's pace beforehand, as I think Killer Blue's done the same thing again.
Yeah. He's raring to go. He wants to start this race a lap early.
Yeah, and I'm just looking for the tyre choices, and every single car is on the hard tyres. Now, there's not a mandatory stop for this race, am I right in saying that?
Yes, so there's no mandatory stop for the sprint race, so people will be probably on the hard tyres trying to get to the end of the race. You can make a pit stop, but that would be barring some sort of damage or the hard tyres completely falling off a cliff. It does happen in real life, but around Britain, which isn't notoriously hard, it's not notoriously hard on the tyres around here, so we're not really going to see any pit stops in this race, barring anyone getting any damage at any point.
Yes, indeed. So thanks for that, Aidan. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting one because, we mentioned Campbell is a clear favourite for this race, but Chill, we saw the pace that he had before he made that error coming out of Chapel. He was away and gone in that feature race, and he's going to be hungry for revenge. Both those guys on the front row will be. So I think that's going to be an interesting battle between those two up at the front, and I reckon the battle through the first few corners is going to be tasty because even though they're both teammates and good friends, I don't think we're going to see either driver backing down here.
No, I imagine that these guys are really going to fight against each other. Obviously, they are QVR teammates, but in terms of Formula 2, they aren't teammates. The one's in the Trident and one is in the Prema, so they're fighting against each other at this point. And like you say, Chill had great pace at the start of the feature race. He was up and gone, like you say. So he might put a good fight against Campbell. Killer Blue struggled for pace in that race, but still came home with a relatively good result in the end. We'll have to see whether he can hold on and whether Tim can hold on against the likes of Verstappen, excelling and Larkin behind. Same with Maverick as well. See whether he can hold to a P7 finish or maybe go through the field once again. It'll be a great judge of pace as well for Larkin in the sprint races. Ibo's been disqualified from the formation lap. It'll be great to see what Larkin's pace is relative to the rest of the field, because while he did win the feature race, he was miles out in front and not really challenged by anyone.
Yes, indeed, and a lot of that was just down to staying out of trouble. We'll see if he can match up to a lot of those top guns on pace as well. I'm very confident that he can, but we're just going to have to see on cold hard facts. So, Campbell guides them around to the front of the grid, and Chill pole sitter last time, front row this time, yet again. We'll see if he can fight it as the last of the cars settle on the grid ahead of this sprint race. Let's get things underway very shortly. I believe all the cars are settled, and here we go now. The lights are coming on now. Campbell and Chill on the front row. 5 lights. And we are away yet again then for the sprint race. Campbell leads him off the line from Chill alongside him there, but Tim gets an excellent start and he's going to thread the needle up in a P2 potentially. He's right outside and through. Further back, Chill having to fend off cars behind him. That's Verstappen battling with Killer Blue on the inside line as to try it there on the outside. Goes Killer trying to complete that manoeuvre there. Has the inside line for 4. Contact between him and Killer almost goes round. Manages to wrestle that car back onto the racing line. It's still side by side with Verstappen going onto the Wellington Straight, but the momentum is with the Dutchman and he is through. Further down the field, we're looking for battles there. They're all starting to filter in to a racing line. I think the cars behind are battling there. It's Jordan and Ryan who come together slightly. Game Boys slides it down the inside, and further back you see Larkin again making movements. He's running outside of Lovefield now, trying to get that move done on Killer Blue. We got yellows down there. I'm not sure who's going around. I think that's Jordan who's going off in the background. I'm still tracking this battle for 5th place because it's still side by side between Larkin and Killer on the outside. This time it's Larkin trying to pull off that manoeuvre there. Around runs very wide, going through Cops, rejoins with his nose ahead of Killer and gets it done in a little bit of creative fashion. But Campbell with a great start up into the front of this race, and Chill, after losing that P2 at the start, he's going to be desperate to really pass him there going onto this hangar straight.
That's absolutely crucial for Chill. The start of that race has really cost him a chance at battling Campbell for this race win. He's looking to the inside then. Is he for Stowe? There's no DRS obviously at this point, but Chill sends it down the inside at Stowe incredibly late on the brakes. He just about gets it stopped and retakes P2 in this race. But the start of that race, that incredible stuff for him. Oh, spinner in the background. That's Killer Blue. Spun on the exit at Stowe corner. He's hit the tyre barriers. I think he hit it with the rear of the car, so he might have got away with no damage. But that is such a shame. He had a great battle with Larkin in the early stages that leads across the line. He has a 1.5 second lead ahead of Chill. Verstappen's made a mistake somewhere. I don't know if Verstappen's spun, is he? Oh, no, actually, that's timing glitch on my end. Apologies for that. That is a timing glitch. Verstappen is still in this race. He is just dropping down the order on my end. But Chill is having a look maybe down. Oh, there's one of the... That's Verstappen, actually. Verstappen going down the inside of Tim. Is he down for P3? He's trying to get the move done. Here comes Larkin, though, now on the back of Verstappen. Is Larkin going to get the run on Verstappen down into Brooklands? It's a wait and see. There's no DRS at this point in the race. We are only on lap 2. Have to wait and see as they come down into the corner. Larkin looking to the outside of Brooklands now. Tries to get the move done, but Verstappen late enough on the brakes. He's able to hold the place for the time being. Tim at the moment currently running in P3 after that incredible start. He's doing a good job of holding these guys up. Is letting Chill get away, but Campbell's disappearing off at the front of the field at the moment. Still Larkin stuck behind Verstappen. Maverick stuck in there in 6th place. Great start for Maverick, I have to say, at the start of that race as well. He's up to 6th place after the early laps. Game Boys has had a great start. He's up to 8th and he's up behind Philippe for 7th now. Maybe he had to think about it. Cops just too far back. Ooh. Is he going to have a move? He's down. Oh, we're going to go for the outside. And look at that. Tim backs out of the move.
Larkin.
And that, yeah, Larkin get caught out by a little bit side by side through Maggots and Beckett's. Great driving from these two to go side by side through there without contact. Larkin got a little bit caught out by how much Tim had to back off going into the corner to let Verstappen through. And now here comes Larkin now down into Stowe corner. It was a great start for Tim, but he's starting to get swallowed by the pack. Here comes Larkin down the inside. Is he going to be late on the brakes? He is. He darts right to the inside of the track. Keeps it very tight to the inside. Tim can't fight it. Larkin up to 4th from 8th on the grid. And Tim falls another place. And now he's calling into the clutches of Maverick in the Carlin, who is incredibly late on the brakes and actually makes contact. Incredibly well held from the pair of them, and I don't know how Maverick got away with that with no damage, but they're staying 5th and 6th for the time being, but that cost them a whole heap of time. And now Philippe and Game Boys on the back of this queue. Game Boys looking for a move at turn 1, is he? Philippe does defend into turn 1, but there's not really a move happening from behind. A bit of a weird defensive movement for Philippe, but he manages to keep the momentum through turn 1, and Game Boys can't make a move late down into the farm section. Meanwhile, further behind, Ryan's had an incredible start. He's up to 9th from the back of the field, making up for a bad feature race. Excelling had a poor start. He's dropped to 10th. He's had a poor start to this feature race, and he's starting to struggle for pace. He's actually falling behind the queue in front as DRS is now enabled. But look at the lead Campbell has, 2.2 seconds already.
Yeah, he has bolted up at the front of this race. QVR 1, 2, 3 at the moment though, so they're holding up pretty well at the top of the field, and we're going to see Tim yet again is going to be on the defensive, this time from Maverick there, leading a bit of a train behind him. And you can see the closest battle is still Game Boys tracking fully going down towards Cops. He's got a good run actually with Slipstream, but of course he can't go for anything from a majorly far distance going into Cops. It's such a high speed corner, and Philippe is able to just about stay ahead for now, but for how long can he hold that? Well, Game Boys has looked to be on the offensive, and I think he wants to be higher than he is now, so we'll see if he can pull this off there as Philippe gets offline going through Beckett. So that's going to cost him on the run out of Chapel. We'll see if he's able to pick it up on exit there. Maverick as well as tucked in under the rear wing of Tim, looking for a move potentially. Going down towards Stowe. That slips from DRS is effective, and he goes to the inside now. Lay on the brakes, and he's able to follow through. On the inside is Game Boys as well. On Philippe as Maverick runs wide, and Tim actually fights back at him. Going down towards the final few corners on the lap there. Still on the inside is Maverick. Brakes very late, but can he quite get that one stopped there? As Tim gets squeezed on the outside there, and Game Boys opportunistic round the outside of the final corner, runs off track himself, rejoins. He's slightly ahead, and he's going to pull ahead with momentum. I'm not sure if he's got an illegal overtake. Looks like he's got away with it, and now he is going to be the one onto the back of Alt Maverick there. But eventually, I think he's had to let that through with the illegal overtake. I'm not sure. I think he's trying to maneuver it so he can stay side by side, and that's allowed Maverick to get that bit of a gap on him there. But as Game Boys now, he's going to be desperate to try and pull off that move. Ryan is tucked in behind as well, looking for any opportunities to open up. Game Boys again tucked in underneath, also further up the road. Verstappen getting very close to Chill. We'll see how that one unfolds as Game Boys big launch down the inside from a long way back. Can he get that one stopped? He just about manages. He's still side by side with Tim, who gets pinched on the inside into Luffield, and Game Boys round the outside can look for better traction on exit, and I think he's just about pulled it off. That is so ambitious as Verstappen has to set in behind Chill as Campbell pulls ahead up at the front of this race. Crazy racing up here. Game Boys, what a lunge on Tim, and he's managed to make that one stick up into 6th now. Brilliant
stuff from Game Boys. He put a lot of faith in Tim, and to be fair to Tim, Tim's had some great despite falling through the field a little bit, he's had some great racing. He's now under pressure from Ryan, who is all over the back of him. Excelling has now finally caught this queue down in P9. Gary's in P10. He's had a good start from the back of the field. Here comes Ryan though on the back of Tim, down the hanger straight. Game Boys is on the back of Maverick as well for P5. Look at the straight line speed that Game Boys has got. It's going to go to the outside of the Carlin man. Does he get the move done round the outside? Maverick sticks it down the inside, but Game Boys is going to have the momentum around the outside. He's up to 5th. Game Boys is on an absolute charge. And
Leng is thrown the inside, going down towards the finals again, gets it all locked up, breaks very late. Tim tries to get a switch back on him, looks towards the outside there. Ryan slips through and now has a run on his teammate Leng, or his ex-old mate Leng. Yes, Leng actually was sitting behind those two.
Here comes Gary as well.
Side by side.
Gary down the inside. Gary down the inside of turn 1. Oh, that's so close. Gary a little bit. The more contact there, and Tim actually loses places, and Philippe actually passes the pair of them. So Philippe making up for the contact he had a couple laps ago. He's worked his way back past these two after they came into contact. Ling and Ryan are side by side. Ling trying to go all the way around the outside, coming onto the Wellington straight. This is great racing between these guys. Ling just about holds on to P7 for the time being, but Ryan's got the DRS down the Wellington straight into Brooklands. He's going to have the momentum and the inside line. We know Ling's incredibly late on the brakes, and he is once again round the outside. Does he have the momentum to hold the inside for Luffield? He thinks about it. He's just on the inside. Ryan trying to get the run on the outside of the corner, but understeers, and Ling's going to hold on to P7 for the time being. Once again, great defensive driving from Ling, but it's really holding these guys up. Maverick has jumped away out front. Gary's back past Philippe down into Cops. He's on the inside line. Philippe, is he going to try and hold it around the outside? No, he backs off for the corner. Gary retakes P9. Meanwhile, while all this is happening, a queue is forming behind Chill. Verstappen and Larkin are hounding the Prima driver for 2nd place.
Indeed they are then, and looking to try and follow through. Still a close battle on track though, as Verstappen not quite close enough to share, but Ryan may have a run on Leng then. He's got that DRS open and the slipstream in full effect. Looks towards the inside, going down towards Stowe, and I think he's going to pull that one off there before they even get into the corner. We'll see if Ryan can fight back on exit. Leng trying to hold it round the outside, runs out a grip though, just at the exit of the corner, and has to settle in behind. But Leng being very aggressive, very ambitious with his overtakes, and trying to get past Ryan there. These XL guys are going to war out on track for P7.
That was Formula Drift stuff from Ling there. I don't know how we held on to that on the exit of the Stowe, but great stuff from Ling to hold on to it. But Ryan works his way up into P7. What a feature race it could have been for Ryan. He's got great pace in the sprint race. Can he catch Alt Maverick and Game Boys in front for a possible P5? Game Boys at the moment 6 seconds off the back of the queue for 2nd place. He's not really going to catch the guys in front, but it's 4 QVR drivers in the top 5 at the moment. Great showing for QVR at the moment. Let's see if Verstappen get close enough to Chill. He's just lagging back at the moment. I think he's just waiting for the right moment. He can't, so that he can pass Chill and gap Chill before Larkin maybe gets through. We've seen that Larkin's got good pace at the moment in the sprint race, not quite as fast as Campbell out front, who's just cruising at the moment, 2.7 seconds out in front. He's not pushing too hard, he's just keeping the gap at 2.7 seconds. Chill can't close
contact!
down.
Philippe round.
Philippe. He's just on the grass on the inside. He gets back onto the track safely, just behind Jordan down in 14th. It's been a bit of a shame, really, for Felipe. He's been bullied quite a bit in this race so far. A bit of contact early on. It seems like he's had contact again. Someone was side by side out in front as well. That was Tim and Gary side by side once again. Gary fighting hard for that P9 position. He's up into 9th place again in Cops. But he's got a bit of a gap now back to Ling, who's all over the back of Ryan once again. These XL guys are going at it at the moment. Can Ling get the run onto the straight? Ryan's on the grass through Chapel. Ryan picks up a time penalty because of it as well. Ling's going to have the run down into Stowe corner. Is he going to be close enough to make a move stick, though? Is he going to go for the inside, the outside? Ryan goes back onto the racing line. Ling incredibly late on the brakes. Actually caught out by how early on the brakes Ryan was. And they both run off the track. Where's Gary in all this? Gary's a bit too far back to capitalise, but Ling drops way further back behind Ryan because of it. Meanwhile, Chill sets the fastest lap of the race and is now starting to close in on Campbell.
Indeed he is, then that gap starting to come down, but can he keep that momentum going? Campbell still has a decent gap up at the front of this race, but it can all change in the blink of an eye. What Verstappen could do potentially is do his teammate a favour by attacking Chill. He's very close this time, going onto the wing straight, but that RTR just holds him back, going onto the straight now. He's got that DRS open and closing down fast. Does he go for a lunge down the inside? Looks for it, but doesn't fully commit to it. It's a bit of a half-hearted move, but Chill is running wide, and that's going to put Verstappen on his tail right outside of Luffield. He's got to watch for Larkin, and behind as well then, he is looking to try and get underneath in that Arden, but is unable to quite get through. Chill holds on, but as long as Verstappen is keeping him under pressure, he can't really get towards Campbell. Campbell is using this to good effect. That gap now back out to about 3 seconds. Chill holding on for now, but Verstappen putting him all under all sorts of pressure. Towards Magnus and Beckett's there. He's looking left and right going into the high-speed section.
Wow, he's so much faster at Chill at the moment. That was smart from Verstappen as well. So maybe fake a move down the inside. It made Chill make a mistake and lose time. But now Verstappen's made a mistake. And look at Larkin basically pushing him through Chapel. Larkin getting a little bit of a toe maybe off the back of Chill. Larkin trying to go around the outside of Stowe. For Verstappen, can Larkin get up into the podium places? He's laid on the brakes but not laid enough. Verstappen keeps a very tight line to the inside of Stowe. And he blocks Larkin's run on the exit of the corner. Larkin now looking to the outside for the Vale Club chicane. Does he get the move done? No. Verstappen squeezes him in the braking zone and is just able to hold on to P3. But as I was saying, Verstappen was forcing Chill into an error. Verstappen made an error of his own and it's let Chill get away ever so slightly. And now Larkin's starting to push these guys. They're still pulling away from Game Boys and all this. Meanwhile, Maverick and Ryan are side by side. Ryan has caught Maverick very quickly. He's round the outside coming into the last corner. Can he keep it on the track? He just about... He stays in P6 for the time being. He goes into P6, Maverick down into P7, and it's now got Ling all over the back of him.
Yeah, Ling and Ryan are now becoming a bit of a power duo in this race. Ryan finally able to put a car between himself and Ling. So, of course, Ling will be looking to try and get a move on Maverick as soon as he can, but Maverick himself may even be sizing up a move. And I'm still keeping an eye on this battle for P2, because Verstappen has managed to keep that DRS, and he can still threaten Chill from that position. Larkin just setting in there, looking for any opportunity he can. Maverick down the inside, late on Ryan, and that comes off badly. He runs into the grass on the exit of Brooklands. Maybe a bit over ambitious from Maverick, and he has to set him behind. Penalty for Verstappen. But yeah,
and Chill. And Chill as well, yeah. Wow, number 2 of the top 3 places get a time penalty then. That's on the exit of Cops by the looks of things. That puts Larkin in a good spot at this point. Currently running P4. He could jump the 2 QVR guys up into 2nd place. But yeah, Maverick just a little bit over ambitious. Just understeered really into the side of XL Ryan, and Ryan keeps P6. Maverick falls down into 8th place. Ling up into 7th, but Ling not within DRS range anymore of Ryan. Can Ryan now catch Game Boys for P5, who's running in a race on his own at the moment? Game Boys must be pretty happy that he's in P5 after a pretty torrid feature race, but he's running on his own at the moment, 7 seconds off the guys in front. Verstappen back down to 3/10 to Chill. Verstappen is much faster at the moment, but just cannot seem to get a move stuck on his QPR teammate. Campbell now sets the fastest lap of the race, immediately beaten by Verstappen, who does a 40 flat on a set of hard tyres. That's a great lap time from Verstappen. I think the fastest lap in the feature race was a 39. Larkin now picks up a 3-second time penalty, so it looks like all 3 of them are level on penalties.
Yeah, so it's all going to be settled on track with just 3 laps to go in this sprint race. Verstappen seems to be the quickest out of the 3, but he's also making the most errors in terms of his driving, so it's stopping him from really putting a solid, consistent challenge onto Chill. He's closing down yet again towards Brooklands, but he's going to have to be so ambitious if he wants to size up and manoeuvre. Chill goes defensive, takes a very tight line going through the corner, and again going through Luffield. He's able to just about keep him behind. Verstappen's just got to try and look for better traction off one of these corners, and he can maybe get through.
Further in behind, sorry.
Behind.
Yeah, Gary's just past Maverick, I believe, in the farm section. Maverick trying to come back at him around the outside of Brooklands this time. Can he get the momentum? No, Gary holds on to the place. Gary up into 8th place. He's up into the sprint race points at the moment. Good stuff from Gary. He's now up into 8th place. He's only 1.7 seconds off the back of Ling as well, who's actually dropping from Ryan quite considerably now. He's dropped to 2nd in the last lap. I don't know if Ling's made a mistake somewhere or whether that's just genuine pace, but Ryan has completely dropped his XL teammate, but isn't catching Game Boys at the moment. Meanwhile, Verstappen only 3/10 back from Chill. Is he going to be close enough into Stowe? It looks like it's his best opportunity so far to make a move stick. Is he going to go for the inside? Chill's not defending it. Verstappen down the inside, but Chill very late on the brakes. Locks up, just about avoids his QVR teammate. Chill just about keeps it on the road on the exit of Stowe corner. Verstappen looks to the inside for Vale, but isn't close enough. Is Larkin going to be close enough to capitalise? He is not. They stay in the same order for the time being. Only 2 laps to go in this race. Verstappen still hasn't been able to make a move stick.
Indeed he hasn't yet, but he is putting more and more pressure on his QVR mate, and of course he has to be careful with how he approaches this manoeuvre, because otherwise Larkin can spring a surprise, just like he did in the feature race where he made that double overtake going towards the Club Vale chicane. But you can see there a little bit of oversteer on the brakes for Verstappen, holds it back a bit then as he's going to try and put all that power. Going out of 4 now on to the Wellington Straight yet again, but Chill's getting good exits off of the critical corners, and that might just about keep his buffer for now. I think he should be safe unless Verstappen goes for a very, very ambitious lunge and he sits in behind for the time being. And Chill is just doing enough. He's getting a little bit offline for some corners and very light actually through Lovefield. So now Verstappen tries to get underneath, gets pinched on the exit of the corner there, struggles for traction as well. I think he's good from Larkin, but Chill struggling, trying to keep that car on the road there, keep it on the right lines. Campbell is well and truly away and gone in this race, I think so, but Chill is defending for his life from there, and Verstappen's going to have to watch over his shoulder rather than head, because Larkin to match the back hits.
Yeah, Larkin really going thing. I think Verstappen actually got forced into that gap on the inside of Luffield by Larkin, who was so eager to get a move done on Verstappen that he ran into the back of him and forced Verstappen into the move. But Verstappen much closer this time round. This looks like it's going to be an easy move now down into Stowe. He's already ahead before the braking zone. Can he get a full car length ahead? He can. Verstappen's finally made it up into P2, but locks up ever so slightly. Can Chill come back at him down into the Vale Club chicane? Verstappen runs wide. Chill's got the momentum. Is Chill going to look to the inside? He's going to sit in behind for the time being. But Verstappen, a little bit of a rear lock there, but just about holds onto the car. Chill has to back off slightly. Verstappen up into 2nd. It's a Trident 1-2 as Campbell sets a 39. The penultimate lap of the race. Now, can Larkin follow Verstappen through and take P3 away from Chill, or can Chill fight back against Verstappen and retake that 2nd place? Chill is close enough. He's going to be within DRS range down the Wellington Straight. How late does he dare be on the brakes? Verstappen, a slight lock up, takes a bit of a tighter line, defends the inside of the corner, making sure Chill can't make a move. But again, Verstappen struggling with the rear brakes on that car. Chill only 2/10 back. Again, great traction coming onto the Wellington Straight for Chill. Surely close enough for a move down into Brooklands. He's going to have to go for the outside maybe. Verstappen's looking to the inside. Here goes Chill to the outside line. Can he go all the way around the outside? Very late on the brakes from Chill as well as Verstappen. This would be a great move from Chill if he can pull it off. Chill down the inside now for Luffield. Verstappen's trying to keep momentum. Oh, he's very wide. Chill manages to retake the place. Verstappen touches the gravel. Here comes Larkin. Just about gets away with it. Larkin opportunistic down the inside of Woodcote. Is he going to keep the inside for Cops, or can he just duck in front? He's just ahead. Larkin up into P3. Verstappen is trying to go all the way around the outside. Chill picks up a 3-second tiny. On the final lap of the race, Verstappen runs wide. He got an illegal overtake on Larkin, I think, because of it. Oh, there's contact! Oh, Verstappen off the road as well. Oh, Verstappen in the gravel on the final lap of the race. It's all falling apart from Verstappen from a potential 2nd place. He's going to fall behind Game Boys at this point as well. We might fall behind Ryan as well. Larkin, he's got 1 less penalty than Chill as well, so Larkin looks like he's going to take P2, but we're going to ride on board with Campbell now around the final corner. Complete opposite race for the sprint race for Campbell. Completely a really horrible race, really, for the horrible feature race for Campbell. Caught up in all sorts of incidents, but in the sprint race, out front, no challenge the entire race. Campbell's going to come around the last corner and win the sprint race at the pre-season event in Britain. Great race from Campbell. Chill's going to... Or is he? Chill's off the road. Chill's in the grass. He's hit the wall as well. Chill's hit the wall. Larkin crosses the line in 2nd. Chill crosses the line 3rd. Where's Game Boys in terms of penalties? Is he close enough to Chill to take 3rd? He is. Yeah, Game Boys steals 3rd. On the final lap, it falls apart for Chill and Verstappen, and Game Boys nicks a podium on the final lap of the race.
Wow, what a conclusion to that sprint race. I think what happened with Larkin and Verstappen is that Verstappen got given an illegal overtake for the move around the outside of Cops, and Larkin wasn't anticipating that, and so just took his normal line, but got caught out by Verstappen slowing. So I don't think there was much either driver could have done about that. It was just a very unfortunate situation.
Really unfortunate, that is it. Yeah. That is
So,
so unfortunate for the end of the race as well for Chill to make that mistake at the final corner. Gives his
yeah.
teammate a third place on the grid. I think Game Boys must have think Christmas come early. He was running in fifth on his own, 8 seconds off the back of the leaders, and all of a sudden he's on the podium. Meanwhile, further behind, rounding off the top 10 finishes, Ryan finishes in 6th in the end, only 2 seconds behind Verstappen. That's how chaotic that last lap was. Tim managed to work his way back into the top 8. He finished 7th again. He finished 7th in this race. He hasn't picked up a time penalty, I don't think. I think he did that in the feature race as well. Tim looking like the only person at the moment who hasn't struggled with track limits, and he's worked his way back up into 7th because of it.
Yeah, that's pretty solid results for Tim across these 2 races. He's done very well indeed. But yeah, another very action-packed race. I'm really looking forward to this season now, because that was quite something to watch there. So we're just waiting for Evo now, going around these last few corners to see things off for this first stream. Hope you guys have all enjoyed this so far. And yeah, so we had Larkin winning that feature race and Campbell now with the sprint race with a dominant drive. So yeah, that's going to be it then for your sprint race, and we'll round for the results very shortly. Then that's the end of yet another chaotic Grand Prix.
I mean, if the entire season is like that, I'm not going to have a voice left by the end of this season. That was an incredible sprint race as well. Just the feature race and the sprint race, both incredible racing throughout. But it's Campbell that takes the top spot on the podium then in the sprint race. Great stuff from him. An easy race in the end for him. He didn't really have any challenge from behind, and he cruised to the win in the end. So Campbell wins the race ahead of Larkin in second. Larkin takes my driver of the day really today for both races. Great result there in second place. Game Boys in third, ahead of Chill in fourth, Verstappen fifth, Ryan sixth, Tim in seventh, Excelling is in eighth ahead of Maverick ninth, Jordan rounds off the top 10, Alex in 11th, Hardy 12th, Gary down to 13th in the final lap. I don't know what happened to Gary on the final lap. He actually has 5 time penalties, so he probably dropped all those places in time penalties in the end, did Gary. Ibo, the last finisher, in 14th. Philippe and Killer Blue did not finish the race in the end. But yeah, like I said just a few seconds ago, Larkin takes my driver of the day today.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to agree with you there. Insane results across both the races, and if that's a sign of things to come, then I think Larkin is one of the guys we've got to be looking at for a potential championship contender. He struck brilliantly today, as well from lowly grip positions in both the races. So yeah, very well done to him. But yeah, Campbell managed to do what needed to be done in that final race and take out that race victory. And yeah, Game Boys as well, a great drive from third from 12th. Taking advantage of his Chill and Verstappen's woes on the final lap to grab that place. So yeah, that's going to be it for our sprint race. Henan, a frantic night of racing. I hope you've all enjoyed.
Yeah, I really hope everyone has enjoyed this stream. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you for people commenting on the stream as well. Thank you to James Head as well. We sent in a little commentary wishing us luck today. I didn't get to read that out before we started getting going, and obviously we had loads of action throughout the race, so I wasn't able to look at the stream comments, but thank you for that comment as well, James, in the stream. But yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. We're going to finish off the stream here. Next week is the start of the Formula 2 season, so Formula 2 starts off at Australia. It's just going to be me commentating next week. Dak has decided to go on holiday, and he's left me alone in the commentary box for next week, unfortunately. So hopefully, Dak, you enjoy your holiday next week.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully you tune into the stream while you're on holiday.
I'll make sure to.
But yeah, have a good time on your holiday. But yeah, next week is the first race of the Formula 2 season, so everyone make sure you tune in for that. It's going to be an absolute thrill of a race. Australia is a great track for racing, and for Formula 2 cars as well, it's going to be incredibly difficult for people. If you thought people struggled today at Britain, imagine what it's going to be like on a street circuit like Australia. So that's going to be great to watch. We're going to end the stream here though. Any final thoughts from you, Daka, before we sign off?
Well, I'm just saying, great season ahead. I've seen what's happened tonight, and I have very high hopes for it. So yeah, let's hope for a great season. Everyone, keep it clean, keep it consistent, but of course, have fun out there on track and put on a good show for us, because we're all looking at it. And yeah, I'm sure that you'll put on a great show, and yeah, the racing on the base of that should be incredible. So looking forward to this season.
Yeah, we've put a lot of pressure on your shoulders, Formula 2 drivers. Got to keep that level of racing up for the rest of the season. But yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you everyone for commenting on the stream. Thank you everyone for taking part as well. And we will see you this time next week for the first round of the Formula 2 season. Thank you from myself and Daka. It's goodbye.
Bye-bye.